it's unbelievable to me that, that I'm actually standing in front of an audience talking still about this topic after pushing my entire medical professional career aside for 4 years to try to find a logical source and meaning for what I witnessed and photographed, ending up with a 750-page journal 4 years later. That I squeezed the best of what I...
The fact that thousands of witnesses have come forward to date saying we saw this craft, I just don't think we can dismiss all that testimony.
I saw these things up close and personal, and no one can say that I didn't see what I saw. It cannot be explained or denied. And neither can decades of other notable sightings of orbs and V or triangle-shaped craft. In fact, orbs have been talked about since human documentation began, even in the Bible. And most things can be explained, but there are a small percentage of things that cannot, and just because we don't have the technology yet to definitively define what these things are, it doesn't mean they're not real. We may just be looking on the AM dial for an FM frequency, but we do have cameras. And as a scientist, I tried to search out the most credible photographic evidence to share with you today of similar sightings of orbs and triangle crafts. St. Petersburg. This one really got to me in my particular investigation, looking for a logical explanation. Here I found a sighting that happened 1 month before ours, a mass sighting, very similar to the Phoenix lights. Watch this. In this video, you can see that it looks like there are like 3 lights clustered in each of these formation of lights, very similar to one of the craft, and you'll learn later because there's a lot more to this story, that traversed Arizona. In fact, not only were they witnessed by people all over the city and videos were caught, but it was also seen clearly by air traffic control and crewmen at the airport, much like in Phoenix. And one of the air traffic controllers, quote, said, "I sketched the event as it happened. The shape of the lights changed, left, and then reappeared. Others were watching through binoculars. There was an aircraft on the runway. They confirmed the presence of a UFO. By 7:15, the strange lights had now apparently formed into a triangle, and reports of the UFO were coming in from all different locations." Another similarity between St. Petersburg and Phoenix is that here we have a triangular-shaped craft that was heralded by lights, much like the Phoenix lights. We were seeing these orbs for days before, as I'll show you in a second here. But this was another video that was captured from St. Petersburg, Russia, which is really amazing. I mean, these people really caught some amazing footage, and this one got to me because I have to catch footage of Phoenix lights that appeared in 2005, a cluster of lights. You'll see, actually, this light was coming into a cluster of other lights on June 15th, 2005. Now we go to Rome. Actually, Paula Harris was kind enough to send me this picture. She was in a meeting with other ufologists, and somebody ran in and said, "There's a UFO out there," and they caught pictures of it, and when they enhanced it, you can see there's 3 orbs there in a V shape. And here as well. In Arkansas in 2007, a colonel, Brian Fields, happened to catch a triangular formation of orbs, and to quote him, "I believe these lights were not of this world, and I feel a duty and responsibility to come forward," said Colonel Brian Fields, who spent nearly 32 years in the military piloting F-16 fighter jets. And he quotes, "I have no idea what they were." What's interesting here is that they ended up blowing it off and saying that they were flares. But take a look at this. An enhancement company took one of the orbs, and I have to tell you, I got shivers when I saw this, because this is so similar to what my husband and I saw 2 years before the mass sighting, up close, 100 yards from our home. And when I stepped out on the balcony to take a picture of the 2 lower orbs, started out as a pyramid shape of 3 orbs, there was an eerie silence, and it felt as if something was watching, an intelligence was watching, I have to admit. And going through my mind was, who are you? What are you? Do you know that I'm here? I'd love to meet you. And here, a company, the Enhanced Imaging Research Company, enhanced one of these orbs, and in their estimate, and we heard Barbara Lamb even mention yesterday that there are beings that reside in these orbs. They feel that there's a face. I don't know if you can see the the two eyes. It looks like there's a face in there. Maybe. At least they thought so. Now the triangle in Ohio. This I found interesting. Not only did the security guard happen to draw it, and it's so similar to what people were seeing throughout the state on March 13th, but she describes it, the bottom, as a dark charcoal gray or black that had a rough texture like burnt aluminum foil, all crumpled up, and then you stretch it out. There were witnesses that would describe throughout the state, even Terry Mansfield here, who was a key witness to the massive triangle craft, that it seemed like it was like a Ripley effect, black-gray Ripley effect, gunmetal effect, like looking through water. So I found that interesting that a witness said the same in Ohio. And a few minutes later, there's actually a witness that caught this triangle formation. He described it as a huge flat triangle-shaped craft, apparently lifting a large glowing object from a hill near Empire, Ohio. Now we get to Texas. We probably all heard about the Texas flap since last January in Stephenville, Texas. Very similar to the Phoenix Lights. People were seeing orbs. They were seeing large craft. And on October 27th, an eyewitness happened to catch this picture, which I thought was really poignant. These three orbs, and eyewitnesses would describe patterns of lights in straight lines that changed to vertical lines, straight lines that changed to triangular patterns, and pulsing red-orange lights. That's another very significant characteristic, because every time I would pick up my dad's Army binoculars from World War II, high-powered binoculars, and look at these objects, and there were other witnesses as well with Celestine telescopes and so forth, you would see spinning balls of energy. It was pulsating balls, very unique, very different than anything you'd ever seen. And actually, there was someone, Steve Blonder, happened to catch, this is exactly what it looked like, on March 10th, March 12th, and also during the mass sighting, March 13th, called Bill Hamilton and Tom King, who rushed over and happened to catch the arrowhead formation of orbs a little before 10 o'clock, about 10 of 10 on March 13th. And the Texas sighting, again, the only explanation that the military has ever come out with is, again, that, that they were flares and planes from the military. The reality is that there were many things that were happening throughout the state on March 13th, 1997, that we'll get to a little later. But the data speaks for itself. And how about if we extinguish the flare theory once and for all here at the UFO Congress? Would you like to do that, guys? Okay. The data speaks for itself. Let's take a look at it. Here we have, this was the Texas sighting. Here's a picture that I took actually 1 month after 9/11. There's a story to that I talk about in the book. This picture was taken a year later. And let's look at flares. Okay, here we go. Here are military flares being deployed by the military. They said they were illumination flares, LU-2 illumination flares. You can see that there's a parachute and there's a huge smoke trail. And a nighttime shot shows just what illumination flares do. They illuminate the area around them. They also illuminate the smoke trail. There wasn't one witness of the Phoenix Lights that said that there was any illumination. Here we go. This is a picture, the second picture that I took 2 months before the mass sighting, really, really poignant, because it's showing 5 lights that people would describe 5 lights in a line or in a V shape with 2 trailing throughout the state on March 13th. This was 2 months before the mass sighting, again in the Class B airspace, confirmed by air traffic controllers next morning. Here we see the Kristen footage. Here's flares. Does the data speak for itself?